Hey everybody, Samsara the Guide here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a current subscriber, if you're not, welcome here for the first time. So real quick background, I started this channel to answer some questions about a game called Raid the Dungeon because I wanted to help people. I really like it. And during the course of that, I stopped playing the game and I wanted to reuse this channel for something. So I want to keep helping people by bringing them information that I think will help. What if I told you that if you wore glasses like a lot of gamers do, that you could improve your vision back to 2020? Well, you can. I haven't done it yet, but I have documented results from an optometrist. So optometrist confirmed significant improvement to my prescription over the past year. So I'm going to take some time to share with you what that was like, where you can go and how you can learn this on your own, as well as other ways you can benefit. Why should you listen to this? This sounds too good to be true. Yo, dude, eyesight problems are a genetic problem. Your eyeball gets long and you need glasses, end of story. That's what the optometry people will tell us. And that's real. The eye does elongate and there are things that cause that. And so the community itself, has this premise that there are things you can do to reverse that. If you can cause it, you can reverse it. The human body and physics and nature in general is this very stimulus related thing. So cause and effect, you do something, something else happens. So one thing that's very important to me over the past year has been something called Endmyopia. And what that is a program that's, I guess it's run by a fellow named Jake Steiner. He has basically collected knowledge from several different sources and has experience for, I think, around 20 years or maybe 10 years, or at any rate, he has a lot of experience with helping people improve their eyesight for nearsightedness. So you basically, you wear glasses, you can't see things far away. Maybe you can't read your computer screen. Maybe you can't drive your car without glasses because you can't see. Right, so he's been helping people for a long time because he hated wearing his glasses, and he has a bit, in my opinion, an axe to grind against the optometry industry because these pieces of plastic in our glasses cost a couple of dollars, and for the most part, it's not magic. Anybody can learn how to figure out what prescription they need. For the most part, most of us can, and order their own glasses online from a reputable seller for very cheap. For example, these are about $15. So aside from that piece of learning how to do that and save yourself some money, there's also just a growing awareness of the eye itself, how it works, and keeping your vision healthy. So I'm here to try to share that and to remove some of the mystery. At least this is what we believe. There is scientific backing behind this. If you read a study on one thing, it'll say this isn't true. If you read another study, it'll say that isn't true. In general, I'm saying this. So there's, I'm just going to share some links and resources in the community and, ask you if you're interested to go check it out. I think one important piece in this is I should share what my results are. So importantly, today I went to the optometrist for the first time in quite a while. So here's my hard proof. I have two paper printouts from the eye doctors. One was from an exam on February 2017, and another one from my exam in October 2020. So if we look at my right eye, we have a -3 and a -0.75. So we have basically the spherical and cylinder, or the blur, and the astigmatism. And in the the left eye, we have -3.25. -1.25. So we can compare that to the sphere, which is just a blur, of -1.75, the cylindrical of -1. So a significant improvement here. Slight change in the cylinder, which was unexpected, but you can kind of swap these out a little bit. And a -2.25 and a -1.25 spherical and cylinder. So the left eye is exactly the same cylinder. We have a full diopter reduction in spherical. In the left eye, we have a quarter diopter worsening in the cylinder, but we have a 1.25 reduction, diopter reduction in spherical. So you can kind of swap these out a little bit. If you were to reduce the cylinder back, and this would still be a -2 or a little bit less. So, all in all, we have a -1 spherical reduction in both eyes in about 11 months or a year in myopia. So this is pretty great. And this here is a screenshot of my vision logger output since, looks like February until October. You can see I was, pretty irregular and sporadic. I really kind of lost motivation. Wasn't sure if this was working. You can see the dots are around where I started. This is a distance to blur, including, my astigmatism. So actually, it's worse than my regular prescription of -3, -3.25. So at any rate, you can see that I have like a really slow progression here, and I really wasn't active. And then I got some motivation and started seeing some gains, and I went vacant again. I came back and I had a little bit more improvement, and I was like, yo, I'm going to look further into this. I started learning more about my astigmatism and clearing my vision. Then I had a rapid set of improvements where my vision just improved significantly. I was able to get reductions. I probably hadn't reduced as far as I needed to. And at any rate, I kind of plateaued and kind of leveled back off. That's where I'm at now. And if anything's, certain that this is a pretty stereotypical experience for some people, where they have constant improvement, they'll have some plateaus and they'll break through. So for me, since this is a long-term experiment or a long-term journey even, it's just, I'm going to stick with it in my regular habits. It's kind of like running endurance with racing and running. Is you do the aerobic workout, the daily grind it, so good habits, and then wearing reduced lenses. And then when I get this motivation, maybe I'll do some eye exercises, and I'll be very mindful. I'll take extra walks. I'll focus my vision and really push for some short-term gains. I don't know if this is what the rest of my journey will be like, but it is somewhat stereotypical, and it does fall in alignment with the projections of about 3/4 to 1 diopter per year of improvement. And I know if you're looking at this stuff for the first time and you have no idea what this means, don't worry about it. What's important to know is the closer to 0 the y-axis gets, the better. So, as you approach 0, you're getting 20/20. So you can see over time how my vision has improved in strength. This is basically my distance to blur. If you're interested in the community and learning more, follow the links. You'll be able to train up yourself on this in no time. So the next thing I want to do here is compare, using this blur simulator on this website, what my prescription looks like on a 20-foot Snellen, or an eye chart, without my glasses. So here's my old prescription. Here's my current prescription. So in 1 year, I've gone from about this left side to the right side. Now, to someone who doesn't wear glasses, you'd be like, dude, I can't tell the difference. But I mean, if you look closely, you can't even tell what's going on here. And now you're starting to see definite shapes of the letters. Now, that's not great in the grander scheme, but this makes a huge difference up close. I mean, this is the difference between I can read books and read my phone without glasses at all. All right, so we've got the same charts here, except for these are hypothetical projections for the end of years 2, 3, and 4, with a somewhat regular rate of improvement of about 1 sphere or a cylinder equivalent, because this is it's a little nuancy here, but just bear with me. Proof of concept. So year 2, much better. I'm definitely able to make out the top lines, or it's not great, but year 3 and year 4. So we're getting really close to 20/20. Definitely clear enough to drive cars, walk around, do whatever. So there are people with prescriptions worse than mine who have gotten back to 20/20 since they've been working with Endmyopia. So this here is, this isn't hard science. I mean, this is a simulation, a projection, but it's definitely something that I can sink my teeth into to give me motivation that I will be able to see as clearly as this chart on the right. It's worth noting that the stronger your myopia is, the faster you might be able to improve. So there have been people who have improved upwards of 3 or more diopters per year that had a higher prescription. This isn't standard by any means, but it is to say that if you have, say, a -8 or a -10, your myopia is very bad. It may not take you 10 years if you start on this journey. Yes, it's probably going to take you quite a while, and in general, it's the last diopter especially that takes the longest. Even if you never get back to 20/20, retinal detachment is a big scare, and there's clear data. Again, you want to look this up on your own, to vet me. Don't believe me, I'm just some internet guy, but the worse your myopia is, the more likely you are to suffer from retinal detachment. So if you're able to get yourself from a high myopia prescription down to something in the mid or even lower range, then that's safer for your eye health in the future. So again, look it up, but I think there's a benefit for anybody who wears glasses, even if you don't take it all the way. I have a documented history with nearsightedness. My prescription has been nearly the same for 10 plus years. I only have data going back from 2011. And you can see that I have reduced my prescription complexity, my spherical correction, which is basically the simple prescription for blur improvement, by 1 diopter, which is it's about average for a first timer for the first year. And I think in general, Jake says that around 3/4 of a diopter per year is realistic. So if I maintain this current course in direction of improvement, then maybe in the next, let's say 2 to 3 years, I may not need glasses at all. So, why should we believe this? Well, here's documented proof. Here is my last optometrist visit in 2017. And then I started the Endmyopia journey in 2019, late around November timeframe. Got really serious into it around December and ordered my glasses and had them around December, January timeframe. And so it's been a good solid 10, 11 months on it. And here's the optometrist prescription from today, where I walked in and I said, hey, they wanted to know what my objectives are, and I said, hey, I haven't had an exam in a while. I'd like to do a reset. What do I need to get back to 20/20? I explained to him what I was doing, that I have reduced glasses for a computer and for the distance, and I'm trying to, improve my eyesight. And he seemed, he didn't fight it at all. He didn't support it at all. I don't know that he has anything to do but to be neutral, but, he checked my eyes. Everything's healthy, and I have, valid from an optometrist. This is real improvement. I would not have believed I could have done this a year ago. I also would not have believed that I could buy, 10, 20 pairs of glasses online to, monkeying around, which Jake from Endmyopia recommends not to do. But I had some bumps and, rocky places along the way, as I learned on my own, because I'm a big doer. But I need to get my hands on things. But basically 20 pairs of glasses for less than what it cost me to buy my previous set in 2017. So, what does this mean to you, the viewer? Like, why should you listen, or at least give this a shot? Why should you be open-minded to this? One is, if you're a gamer in this community and you wear glasses, which statistically there's a high probability of having nearsightedness. Well, one, you can save yourself some money by learning how to measure your own eye prescription. Ordering your glasses offline. I mean, why pay $200, $300, $150, $400 for lenses and glasses, except to be fashionable, if that's really your thing. But you can get some decent looking glasses for using the computer. We're all working from home, so there's really nobody to impress. I think now is better time than any to try this journey. So, one, learning how to do this on your own. Number two, improving your eyesight back to 20/20 so you never need glasses again. This is an aspiration. Not everybody gets this far, but Jake has videos with real people who talk about their journey and their progress. People who have made it back to 20/20 from much worse prescriptions than mine. So yeah, I mean, that's really it at a high level. So why don't I tell you about Endmyopia, its general premise, and what I did along this past year. So Basically, there's a few tenets to myopia. The first one is habits. So I'll go over my habits, which is one, now I don't wear my glasses at all when I'm on my phone. I hold them up, and I might not look cool with my long hair spilling over, but I look at my phone and I pull it back from my face, because previously I found when I read books I would keep pulling things closer and closer and closer and closer, and I would look up and things are blurry. And what that is the muscle in the eye, at least I think, is based on the data from the community, is that the ciliary muscle in your eye is responsible for flexing to change the shape of your lens, which allows you to focus on things up close. So that muscle tightens like this, it gets tighter to flex that muscle, to flex that lens to allow you to see up close. And as you look away, that muscle should relax, and things in the distance should automatically clear up if your eyes are in good shape. But if you're like me, who's been on this journey for a while, it might take me a few minutes to kind of relax them. It might take a couple seconds. If you've been doing it a long time, you might be able to do it quickly or automatically as you're getting closer to 2020 again. If you've been wearing glasses for almost 30 years like I did, it might take you days to really understand, or get days, weeks, months even, to realize and achieve that at will. It may just be that you take a walk and 30 minutes later, wow, you can see better. You may not be able to just look at something across the room and then relax and clear it up. So at any rate, I'm quite digressing here, but habits, reduction of up close time so that this muscle in your eye is not flexed as much. So trying to get tablets, and if you're reading and doing something on a cell phone, maybe get a tablet, and where your distance to what you're looking at is further away. Computer, like, can you go from a laptop to, say that you plug your laptop into a monitor with a workstation, a dongle, plug it in USB, and you have monitors. That's pretty common at businesses now. You could do it at your home. TV, try to move the TV further back, but more importantly, try to get more time outdoors with real distance, because we spend a lot of time inside the house, with the walls 10-20 feet away from us, the computer's in front of our face, the phone's here, we're on the toilet looking at the phone, we're in the car in the passenger seat looking at the phone, we're on the bus looking at the phone, on the train looking at the bus, walking down the sidewalk looking at the phone. And that causes that muscle in your eye constantly be flexed. And imagine your arm being in a cast 6 months, or 3 months, or however long it takes to heal a broken bone. You get that arm out of a cast, you can't stretch it quite like you used to be able to, right? You might have to go through some physical therapy to address that. Same thing with athletes. They do some sort of repetitive motion a lot. The body accommodates it. There's stimulus, the body responds, right? So there's this up close. The body adapts to be better at seeing up close. When really, throughout history, we've been outside, hunting, gathering, surveying the land, needing to see at a distance, not working up close with our hands. And so, look this stuff up. Find it on your own. I can give you some places to look, but basically, the hypothesis here is that as humans have been spending more time indoors, looking up close, finer and finer detail, that we've lost the ability temporarily to focus at a distance. And at first, the common story is you're in school, you're reading books, you're doing your assignment, you look up and you can't see the blackboard or the marker board or the computer screen. I don't even know what they have in schools. We're all online these days anyway, but the point is you look at something up close and then you look away and you cannot see quite clearly, and you're like, oh no, I can't see, I need to go to the eye doctor, I need glasses. When the reality is, for the most part, if you, instead of flipping out and looking back in your book, if you're able to get up and walk around and go outside, relax your eyes, then you'll be fine. You'll work that muscle. It's like doing yoga, doing stretches. You're stretching that muscle out, and allowing it to relax the lens to see more clearly at a distance. And so what the problem here tends to be with this pseudomyopia, or it's like I call it a false myopia, is temporary, right? Well, you go to the eye doctor, they put some lenses in front of your face, and they like, hey, is this better or is that better? And clearly it's better, you know. 2020, 2015, 2013, that's better. Less blur is better. Seeing finer, smaller things is better, but for the most part, that's not natural to be able to see that clearly at all distances all the time. So our body, the premise here, the hypothesis is that the same way, we're looking up close, and we need the glasses. We get the glasses, and then it basically does a reset. Okay. So you look at the blackboard of the screen. In my case, I grew up, we had blackboards, right? Marker boards, whatever. It's clear. I look back at my book. I'm still doing the same thing that messed with my eyes to begin with. So over time, then the axial elongation, the length of the eye, it increases. It says, hey, dude, this is so close. This image is so, wow. The eyeball has to literally get longer to accommodate for this change in focus from the glasses. Then the eyeball gets a little bit longer. Over time, you get back, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years later, you're like, man, I can't see again. You go to the doctor, you repeat that process until maybe you get out of school. And some people are more genetically predisposed for this to occur faster. And this is where it's very dangerous. So there's a link to the video for Todd Becker. Where I first heard of this, he goes over this. Maybe he's not quite the best polished speaker on this, but he gives you a good starting point to show you that some people are predisposed for myopia. Some people are predisposed for mild myopia, and some people are not predisposed at all. However, if we spend a lot of time with up-close fine work, then that exacerbates the problem. So at any rate, it's this progressive, getting lenses, and then continuing to have the bad habits. So Endmyopia teaches you about that. You become aware of that, what you can do, rewire yourself to be like, oh man, I've been staring at my phone for, I don't know, an hour. And it's really easy when you look up and things are blurry. So instead of just rubbing your eyes and going back to it and saying, hey, I'm just going to keep doing this thing, maybe I should take a walk for 20 minutes. What's so important than this video game or whatever? That's what a lot of folks are doing. And it's not to say that, I'm not judging what you do for fun, but there's other things that we can do, and we can relax our eyes. So at any rate, the other thing that this community does is one of the tenets, aside from the habits, which the habits are very important, it's reduction of lens strength for up close and for at distance. So if we think about myopia progressing and how severe it is by having a negative lens in front of the eye, which is what the doctor gives you when you can't see far away, is they give you a negative power lens to clear it up. So you put that in there, you can see clear up here and clear here, but it's too powerful for up close. It makes the eye longer. Well, the premise is that the opposite happens. If you reduce some of the strength, so if you say that you're at a -3-ish, give or take, like I was, and you take a little bit of that away, I might go from I was seeing 2015 or 2013 on my eye chart. When I'm outside, I could see everything everywhere at all distances very well. Not like hawk vision, but very, very well. Well, put me in front of an eye chart and take down my prescription just a little bit. Maybe I can see 20/20. Now take off a little bit more. I can see 20/30, 20/40. That's a pretty good place to be. 20/40 is the legal vision requirement to drive cars here in the United States. You can do a lot of stuff at 20/40. You're not going to have laser vision, laser clear focus at all things far away, but you're going to be able to read books just fine. You're going to be able to see in your house just fine. You're going to be able to walk down the street and do stuff just fine. Is it going to be perfectly clear? No. And that's what Endmyopia does, is it teaches you to measure the prescription strength you need for certain distances. One distance being for up close for computers, and preferably nothing for books if you can do it. But if you need one for books and computers, like a book being like not too close, but at any rate, one for close up, these are called differentials, and another one for distance, These are called normalized lenses that are slightly reduced. So like you don't want to be blind when it's dark and on a cloudy day because it gets harder to see in low light conditions. It gets harder to see at night. So if you're outside on a bright sunny day, you may be able to see crystal clear and not even know that you need glasses. But when you wear these reduced lenses on a normal day or in lower light conditions, you're going to have not crystal clear vision. And so what you're doing is you're learning how up close first is to maybe you look at some text and you get close to it and you're like, okay, it's really clear. Move back, move back, move back. It's just a little blurry. Okay, move back a little bit more. Okay, and relaxing. And then over time, if as long as your eyes are not already relaxed, it should clear up just a little bit. So you basically find the maximum distance at which your eyes are relaxed and you're able to see. And over time, you're pushing that back further and further. You're learning to do this up close, and then you learn to do that at distance. And this will, the premise is that it will cause the eyeball to shorten because the image is focusing just in front of the eye retina just enough to have the opposite effect of what caused it to gain in length. And because you have, you're improving your muscle control over your ciliary body by relaxing it and allowing it to focus more, you regain some of that power. So that's really it in a nutshell. Better habits and then reduced lenses. So there's a lot of nuance to it, but I basically just want to get people interested. I think that really why this is important is because if you look at the developing world, the correlation is that as we spent more time reading, cultures who have been spending more time reading books or maybe even computer stuff now, there's a difference between education and computer time now, but at any rate, as we spend more time doing that, especially in a developing world where people have less access to optometrists, less access to doctor, to just money in general to spend on overpriced glasses, it's not very feasible, right? So I think that as a community, getting the word out, that this can help people, help prevent your children from needing glasses, help prevent people who can't afford optometrists, maybe giving you an alternative to how you can figure this out on your own. And again, please seek medical advice. I'm not a doctor. Neither people in the community of Myopia pretend to be doctors. This is educating yourself. There's no black magic to figuring out like what your normal prescription is. If it's a simple prescription, if you have like astigmatism, it gets a little bit more difficult. If you have prism or actual problems with your eye, that's not something that we can help with directly. But like for most people, learning how to assess what prescription strength you need to see clearly at a distance, like reading at your computer, that's not dangerous. If you do it wrong, your eyes will tell you it's wrong. You should, not wear glasses if you have headaches. But if you're wearing them and you can see well, it's not a dangerous thing. So this is something that people, people who are into yoga and self-help and any sort of thing, you might be more interested in this. I think our culture in the West has something. It's like doctors say this and doctors say that, and this food is bad and this food is good 5 years later, and then the 5 years after that food is bad again. So like what we believe to be truth and fact changes over time. So it's a best effort, but right now there's traditional medicine is probably not going to look at this too fondly. I think it's very important to look at it skeptically. As I didn't believe this at all. At first I was like, well, it sounds interesting, let me be a data point. So I'd like to let my results speak for itself. So at any rate, that's really my story. It's very high level. There's a lot of stuff that I've left out, but that's it with Myopia. I walked my prescription down from just the swag, but a -3 to a -2, on average. So I took about a diopter strength off of my glasses. Actual prescriptions, are shown here. These are from an actual optometrist. So if you're interested in this, if you want to learn more, please go to the links below. do your own research, join the community, ask more questions. I participate there. I think what needs to happen is this needs to reach critical mass. If this is real, I think it's real. Does it work? Do we know exactly how it works? I don't know that we know exactly how it works, but we have a good scientific foundation for it. And hopefully, someone with the resources to invest in this and, vetting this, proliferating this knowledge more, will step in and help at some point in the future. But this is, in my opinion, this is real stuff. I'm very excited that I've been able to improve my vision. I can see things without my glasses that I couldn't before. Like I can use my phone, I can see my keyboard, I can sort of use the computer, but I still need some glasses for that. It's really great, exciting, and I think, if anything, if you teach yourself a little bit just to remove the mystery and save yourself some money discriminately, it's up to you. Don't do it if you're not comfortable. Seek advice from a professional, but you can do this if you set your mind to it. And yeah, that's me. That's the story here. Let me know if this helps at all. If you're interested in hearing more, I will be happy to share more details about my experience. What I'm trying to do to improve. It's fairly straightforward. It's fairly boring, but it's a very personal thing, and people get excited about it. And it's hard to explain. It's hard to know that you're doing the right thing, which is why I want to share this. Because I think just one thing, I might want to pivot the channel and just teach people about different stuff. And like sharpening knives, you can watch a million YouTube videos on sharpening a knife, but until you do it yourself and do it right, you're not quite sure. So sometimes just hearing someone else explain it slightly differently is what you need to, between learning and not learning something. So please share in comments, share the video if you like it, hop into the community. If there's more you want to know, please let me know. But thank you for taking the time. If you've stuck with me throughout this and listened, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I think that this is something that can help change the world, and not in like some great glorious thing, but it's just, what else is there that we've been confused about? Like, needing glasses isn't necessarily a genetic problem. It's the result of our lifestyle, right? So we can change our lifestyle just a little bit and go back to our roots with how we use our eyeballs. And there's, I think, a lot of growth that can come from that. So at any rate, that's all I've got now. Again, thank you. Please be sure to like or subscribe if you want to follow me for further updates in case there's a growing interest in this. So thank you. Take care.